Hello everybody, it's your boy Mark here, and we're going to be jumping back into 60 seconds, Reatomized. Now, well, heads up, this is the penultimate episode, and what does that mean? I'll give you a moment just to Google it. That means it's the second to the last. If you can't Google fast enough to figure that out by then, I'm sorry, that's your fault. But, other than that, I mean, when it comes down to it, this is a great game. Cleans up the previous game, puts in a different engine, and it's fun. With that being said, I would rather have more variety in the videos I kind of send out to all of you. And I think, it's going to be 24 episodes long for one game. I think that's perfectly long enough. That is just fine. So I hope you enjoy this one, and I hope you enjoy the next one. Without any further ado, let's just get right into it. Well, no, I want to do it all myself. And since it's penultimate, we gotta do it as DELORES. The biggest soup. Alright. And come on. There we go. Look at that. And we gotta grab our husband and our son.
No.
Hearing to which she says no. No. It's great. It's perfect. Alright. And then let's take one water. One more soup. Let's grab the axe. And the radio. Great theme song. Water. The map's in there. Ooh. Holy cow. Ooh, that's dangerous. Ooh. Alright. All of us made it to shelter just second before the last. That was a close one. Let's see, we got rat poison and a padlock. Fine by me. We don't have a Boy Scout manual, which could be better, but we can manage. Let's send Mary Jane. There we go. Yeah, why not? That didn't feature tomato soup, and we heard yells inside. They discovered a small group of rugged survivors. We were sorry sight and weren't surprised, and they requested aid. They asked us to provide anything, water, food, or medical supplies. How much we got? 6? Yeah, let's give them... Oh, let's give them some food. Be kind like that. Take care of each other. It just makes sense. Many tears were shed, smiles and hugs were exchanged. Wow. We're feeling someone out, shelter, ruins the town. Hope they make it out there. That's great. Self-explanatory. There's a lot of space down here. We can smell everything when the breakers got loose. Yes. Then we get a can with a dead rat on it. Then we eat the dead rat. No. We take the can. I think, I peeked inside what happened. It gave us a heart attack, a crazed rodent or reptile or whatever. It was, yes, talk to Timmy. Talk to Timmy. It's a good idea. Group of friends dressed in green pajamas knocking our hatch. They said they take from the rich and give to the poor. I think we're tiptoeing on the line of that, so I'd say let's not let them in. Oh, she's not dead, she's back. Even better. Hungry, tired. We didn't expect a phone call so soon. Let's send Timmy. Boredom and silence are overwhelming. Too bad we don't have a TV. Maybe we could take advantage of some replies and pretend they're props on a movie set. Let's do a suitcase, because I don't want to break the axe. Suitcases are supposed to serve as a small podium. Ted and Mary argued about who should stand on the podium and deliver a monologue in their improvised scene. Long story short, both of them stood on top of their suitcase at the same time. Unfortunate. Wasn't our radio damaged? Did Mary bring one back? It felt like we were being stared at from the corner of the small shelter. We think it's a rat, at least. Looks like a rat. Ran a very good diet. Let's just shoot it. Feeling pretty optimistic about today's expedition. One thing left to do is choose. Who's the right person to go outside? I send Delores. I think Delores can get it. Delores has got it. Is that like not as in like Unis honest, they can get it. At least initially that's not what I meant. For Delores, I might consider. Alright. Enough with joking about the idea of having sex with a cartoon character. We know very little about what's going on outside. It'd be a good idea to find out more, or maybe discover if anyone made it to safety. A radio could help with this. We're running out of water. We need it. We were visited by a young woman today. She is on a mission to rescue her twin brother who went missing. Let's send Mary Jane. We quickly called a group of friends and we set out to... It turned out to be a successful mission. Finding the lost twin brother wasn't a problem. He was hanging on top of the antenna next to the fence, trying to escape. In his duel with the bandit leader, he lost a hand, but he group quickly tended to his injuries, and he'll be just fine. Siblings thanked us 100 times, and they said they'd contact us again. There's never a good time to go out in the radioactive wasteland, but it seems it will become a necessity once the new world is ours. What we thought it would be a good idea to make this happen sooner rather than later, and plan a trip outside before we could make the third step beyond the shelter doors and unknown creatures are around us in the darkness. Shoot it. Just kapow. Done. We took some examining our map and found it had abnormal symbols scribbled in a few places. Someone had hidden in the area. Hey, Mary Jane. You got... Ooh. Hi, Dolores. How you doing? Oh, coming across a working flashlight. Kansas soup. Okay, let's read this whole thing. We weren't sure we were able to find whatever was hidden by the author of the map directions, but soon enough the pieces started coming together. After an hour digging at the local park, or whatever was left of it, we came across a working flashlight. Just what we needed. We were sure glad to see Dolores came back safely from wasteland. If we had to pick our favorite day of the week, it would be Saturday, before the bombing. Saturday was a time of relaxing and joy. Like bribing Mary Jane with cookies so she stopped playing the tuba, gossiping about the neighbors, of course, and of course bowling. Like the bowling alley is still standing. Yabba dabba doo. The bar didn't have much to offer. The rotten salad has a bunch of burnt peanuts, and for some reason a cowboy hat. We were happy to find secret stash of soup cans that were under some rubble. Desperate times call for desperate measures, so we weren't surprised to see that someone placed water bottles instead of bowling pins at the end of the lane. We were sorry to ruin their setup, but we really needed that water. The vehicle down the street looked like someone's work in progress. We observed it from far. Who could the owner be? We kept from a distance for that time. But we may want to take a closer look in the future. We could potentially be our ticket out of here. Ted's stomach is rumbling. Breathe calmly. 1, 2, 3. That's much better. Don't panic. We need to open the door in an instant or we're going to die. Open the door. No. It's a radioactive wasteland. No. That's a horrible idea. Like, gee whiz. That is not smart. Ted's crazy. Who to take outside? I mean, Mary Jane, come on. It's just the best idea. I think she's come back with some good stuff before, so... We got crazy Ted. And very sick Dolores. We were able to receive another message from the government. The military is preparing a rescue mission. They want all survivors to head to a specific location in the area to then leave a sign that someone's still alive kicking nearby. The problem is, they provide us with geographical coordinates, but we need a map to find out where we're supposed to be headed. Otherwise, it's complete gobbledygook. After Dolores returned from the last expedition, she was complaining about a minor foot injury. Yes! This is where she can recover and be, less sick. This is great. This is really great. It might have been her right foot, or maybe her left foot. One of them, anyway. It seemed irrelevant at the time, but now both of her feet are swollen. We need to do something about it. Okay, cool. Use that. And awesome. When conducting our daily supply count, we noticed that if soup can is missing. We're absolutely sure there was just yesterday. I mean only one thing. There is a soup thief among us. Now we must figure out who the culprit is. Ted. I'm gonna say crazy guy. Sounds like there's a rat. Holy fro, man. Ted admitted to hiding the can. Good thing he didn't find the time to eat it all, but he took the soup back on himself and sulked in the corner. You stay there, Ted. Time out. You stay in there, sir. Trash can's becoming full of empty soup cans. The unmentionable bucket is overflowing. Both of them are attracting strange glowing big insects. Weren't that big before the war, were they? Were they? Bug spray. Water? Yes! Yes! Water. Dodge a bullet this time. That is, if this bullet was huge, hairy, and had 8 legs and a glowing head. Wait. So Ted, good luck. During our last expedition, we finally approached a nearby vehicle. It was a tank, missing wheels and a few other crucial components. Outside, it was rusty and a little burnt up. Drive away from here, we could scavenge something for to reinforce it. Let's bring the only thing we have, which is a flashlight. Go for the expedition. Low run. Armed with a flashlight, we braved the darkness. Almost intact basement of a few houses down the street. There were a lot of cobwebs and an impressive collection of barbecues. Grabbed some grills to install on our vehicle for protection. Smelled wonderful too. Oh, the flashlight didn't make it. Shame. Our situation is getting worse every day. We can see the hunger and desperation in each other's eyes. We know a teacher from... No, we do not stoop that low. Not on my watch. I don't have a watch, but if I did, not on it. We're no bandits. Sure, we need supplies, but not at the cost of others. We won't bother these people. A man who takes canned tomato soups from another is not worthy to taste that soup. Let's just hope everyone else out there is as decent as our family. Peculiar. It seems the whole shelter has been shaking every couple minutes. It feels like it's getting stronger every time this happens. Here comes again. And it's way worse. It's an earthquake. Hold on, something. We regretted opening the door the minute we saw who was standing on the other side. Dark faces and rifles, determined looks of band teenagers. We're doomed, we thought. Then, out of the blue, one of them asked if we were with the Reds. We never supported the Red Sox, so we confidently said that we weren't. The tension dropped immediately, and those nice young people gave us 2 bottles of water. They also told us to have no fear that since Wolverines are around. We're not sure what Wolverines have to do with all this, but we took their word for it. That's nice. Yesterday, during charades, we learned that Mary Jane doesn't know how to spell anti-establishmentarianism. Oh, establishmentarianism. How left Dolores sorely disappointed. She insists on home, or rather, shelter schooling Mary Jane a little. I mean, sure, it's something to do, but like, you don't gotta play games that humiliate your child either, so I mean, fine. Ooh. Oh. The sock puppet is sick too. Dolores does not mess around. We started out as a spelling exercise, quickly found out a way to math revision, followed by a short physics course, and ending on tinkering with random objects in the shelter. Mary Jane looks exhausted, but we can't deny the state of our shelter has improved today. Ted has safely returned from his voyage on only a handful of buildings in our town survived the blast wave. One of them was the local bus station. It used to be the central hub for buns and vagabonds in the area, but now it stands there empty. We decided it's worth checking out, hoping someone left a few soup cans behind. Our local athletics team was preparing to depart for a championship taking place somewhere in the boondocks. This bus was full of refreshing water and some spare shoes. Unfortunately, none of them were a match for us, so we just took all the water bottles. Every day, Ted is becoming more and more absent-minded. Early this morning, he has been completely committed to reading a newspaper, or rather something that seemed to think was a newspaper. Our toilet tissue. He seemed very interested in it, so we didn't want to drag him away from his reading. He had to answer a call of nature, but when he reached for our map, suffice to say, it's unusable now. Absolutely unusable. Ted didn't seem very bothered when he tried to make him realize what he'd done and take back the toilet paper. He muttered that it might lend it to us when he's finished. Come on, Ted, our map. Ted and Mary Jane have been butting heads today. They got into an argument about movie characters, specifically who'd win the ultimate battle. Snow White's 7 dwarves or a group of wasteland bandits. It's Drake one for sure, and the debate is heated. will come out on top. I'm gonna go with Mary Jane on this one. I think Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Because, like, I don't know, tactics. They just have the high ground if they're in the right spot. Mary Jane objectively won the debate with the sheer volume of her voice. A few hours into shouting, Ted was begging her to stop complaining about a nauseating headache. Mary Jane was satisfied, Ted less so. Alarmed, there's a group of people outside and they don't seem too friendly. We recognize some of them. They used to be our neighborhood watch. They don't seem too concerned with the well-being of our neighborhood anymore, but they are serious about angrily waving their flashlights. You do something before they break in and take everything we have. Padlock. We don't think this padlock would stop them, but it turned out to be enough to discourage the unknown attackers. It seems that they gave this whole break-in a fair shot, but ultimately gave up and left. Too bad the padlock is in no shape to be used again. We think of other ways of fighting the bandits and other soup-hungry barbarians. A coded note was left on our doorstep. It's all symbols and numbers. Some cipher needs to be cracked before we can read the letter. Dolores seems eager for the challenge, however, it's hard to tell. Yeah. Give Dolores something to do. Why not? It's great. It's a puzzle. It's math. Our grandparents always told us never to buy something unseen. Afraid for Timmy came back from Wasteland. Set up an expedition nearby zoo. We used to visit on weekends. We're happy to report that productivity supply run as well as an educational trip. We saw pterodactyl whales, chimpandeers, a porcupine, and a small army of cockroaches and other majestic creatures that have emerged among the post-nuclear clear fauna. Cards. That's it? Just cards? Oh, jeez. It took several days and a lot of silent cursing, but Dolores finally cracked the code. Impressive. The note contains detailed instructions for some secret location nearby, but it says Dolores must show up alone. She's willing to go. Let's let her go. Timmy's bored out of his mind. We won't leave Ted alone. At first he wanted to play tag, and now it's hide and seek, which are both terrible ideas for a small shelter. Ted's in a bad mood and wants to be left alone, but Timmy isn't giving up. How about charades? Sure. That's a lot of water. Charades is serious business, but we never expected the game would be this violent. Ted could not guess any of Timmy's comic book character names, which caused Timmy to mime and gesture more widely. His flailing arms knocked a few things off shelves before he finally gave up. Great. Oh, Dolores. She claims it was some sort of secretary job before she married Ted. It's weird how little we know about that time of her life. She's quite a private person, our dear Dolores. Clearly, all these years ago, she made friendships for life. These supplies will surely prove useful. We're glad to see Dolores come back safely from Wasteland. Nice. Alright, Mary Jane is pulling on Timmy's hair and calling him a radioactive poopy butt while fiercely kicking his shins, insisting she is a mutant booger. Madness. Nobody knows what this set off, but it's kids, right? But which one? What if Mary Jane is a mutant? What do you mean? Before anyone could jump in, kids were suddenly made up and everything ended as fast as it began. Nobody remembers what caused the fight in the first place. The other day we heard a quiet knock on our door, but when we opened we only found a suitcase on the doorstep and there was no one around. It isn't signed, but sure it looks like it's meant for us. Should we check what's inside? No. Never check the suitcase. That thing go boom. That's bad. Our sorry excuse for a dinner was interrupted by a raspy voice coming from outside. We're saying, wanna buy a rock? Old man Jim. Let's say no. Ted could not resist the madness that was consuming him any longer. Says that today, the advice of his sock puppet, he left the bunker and went in an unknown direction, never to be seen again. And the cruel puppet took him away from us. We'll have lots of fun together. Our supplies are scarce, and morale is low. You can almost smell the depression shelter. We're pretty sure there's a small group of survivors nearby. Mostly old folks from a retirement home. No, just because morale is low doesn't mean you gotta do bad things. All hands on deck. There are people on the other side of the door, and they don't seem too friendly. We have a gun. Since yesterday, and feel like we're ready to go. Who should be the lucky one to venture into the unknown? Let's send Timmy. bandits. The end. "58 days. Survived 61 days. That's pretty good. 5 out of 6 successful expeditions, 16 items, yes, no decisions. It's end the adventure. Well, I hope you all enjoyed this run and this penultimate episode. I hope you all can understand my decision on this. If you agree with it, sweet, you understand. If you understand and don't agree with it, maybe I'll revive it, maybe I'll live stream it, but when it comes down to it, this is a longer thing to record and a lot more effort in editing when I feel like it's not performing very well, and also just like generally repetitive. So with that being said, I hope you enjoyed this episode and the next one, but if you do, you know what to do. Like, comment, and subscribe on this video, and I'll see you in the next episode, which is the final episode of 60 Seconds Reatomized. Toodles.